Okay, so welcome guys, welcome to the latest in the Aforza Podcast Project, coming live from BrewDog Waterloo. I'm very excited today to be joined by Chris Hemphill from Salesforce, our co-founder and CEO Dominic Dinardo, and we're going to be talking about the subject of how partners build game-changing applications on the Salesforce platform. So as we get started, maybe over to Dominic and to Chris, let's talk about your introductions and just how you guys know each other.
Well, first of all, we're going to do a big cheers because we're in BrewDog, so we're allowed a sneaky beer, guys.
100%.
Thanks so much for doing this.
Cheers.
Yeah, let's not spill it over the equipment. A big thank you to Chris, because Chris leads a really, really important department in Salesforce, which is the ISV Evangelists. These are the crack team of all the solution engineers and systems experts who understand the platform, soup to nuts, to help partners like us. And we're grateful for your team's support, Chris. But actually, maybe when you introduce yourself to everybody, we should tell the history, because you and I know each other, and we come from a similar pedigree, which is, I think, quite an interesting part of the story. Maybe you'd like to say a few words about your own background and how you got here.
Sure, 100%. Thank you for having me. This is quite the honor, a lot of fun.
Are you enjoying your European trip?
My European trip's been amazing. We should talk about that more too. Lots of great partners to call out and just wonderful travels along the way. So hi. Not sure who I'm waving to, but anyway, Chris Hemphill. I lead the Global Tech Evangelist organization and also tech strategy, I should say. It's another important part of our team. Maybe you haven't worked with them so much so far. But I lead that team for Salesforce. It's an amazing part of the business to be on, and as you said, I lead a bunch of people who are experts in our platform, in our technology, and help coach and advise our partners on their architectures and where they're going with Salesforce, which is not all that different from my prior job and how you and I met, which was as a solution engineering leader, as yourself, and on my end, I was an SE working for Dom across multiple parts of the business.
You've been in Salesforce now, I think you said 15 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time, man.
It's 15 years coming up January.
Oh, okay.
So I'm rounding right now, but it's quickly becoming 15, and it'll probably be 16 quickly after that. So time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, and I've often felt, and I'm a big strong believer of this, and I know you'll feel the same way, is that those solution engineering jobs, very often people who are solution engineers can feel a little bit undervalued, etc., but they're such a pivotal role in any technology company.
It's always been such a fun job, and I've been both a sales guy and a solution engineer over the years, so I've gotten to play both roles, and even at Salesforce, I went back to being an AE for a while to experience it and see what it was like, and I still found myself drawn back into the SE world, and actually got to lead part of our Ignite business back for a while too, which was similar and different and also fun. But yeah, as an SE, you get to be the curious one in the room, asking sometimes what seem like the dumb questions, but maybe they're not the dumb questions.
Exactly.
They're just kind of going a level deeper and trying to understand why somebody's trying to do something, or what their real opportunity is.
And solving the problems.
And what problems they're trying to solve, right?
Adding value for everyone.
And alongside of that, you get to be the technologist and play with all the fancy new toys and learn and stay ahead of all those and piece it all together for partners and customers. So
all the glamour of sales, but with perhaps less of the risks and more, in some ways, more of the career rewards longer term. So you've come up now through the ranks, and you're leading this. I'd love to hear more about this role you have today, Chris, and tell us about your role, but also about your trip here and more about the solution engineering fraternity.
Sure.
And we're both in.
Yeah. So I mean, as an SE, I got at Salesforce. Started that was nearly 15 years ago. Yeah. And I started in our SMB business, working with our smallest clients, because I was coming over maybe as an enterprise AE back then, but had never been an SE, so I kind of got to start from the ground up. Working with our SMB clients, where we were literally working with hundreds of clients a year.
I remember.
And just the pace of that business is amazing, and still one of the most fun, experiences over the years. Then I got to work on some of our enterprise accounts, work on some of the biggest accounts out here in Europe. Philips being maybe the top of that list.
I worked at Philips.
Last week I got to introduce Philips, working with some of our exciting partners. Financial Force nowadays is an extension to what we started way back when. And I got to introduce Kim, who was in from Florida, speaking with Financial Force up on stage about how they've continued to just invest in our platform, our technology. And so, as an SE, I got to have a broad set of experiences, from the smallest startups in San Francisco to some of the biggest global companies, and it was just an amazing opportunity and just experience working across those businesses.
Two very different types of speed of interaction, like you said, like the SMB business, lots of demos, very fast interactions. Then the likes of enterprise companies like Philips, very strategic, very thoughtful. But still with the core, those curiosity, technical skills.
Yep.
And now, tell me a bit about this ISV job you have now, and how you've taken those skills and your team, because probably not everybody out there, maybe some of the people listening to this podcast might be other prospective Salesforce partners, and I can tell you about why we've chosen Salesforce as well, but perhaps if you lead on the...
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting team, and it's actually not that different from the SE side of things. Yeah. It's kind of the SE organization for our ISV partners. Lucky for me, it's actually a global role, global responsibility. So career-wise, this has been a new challenge, a new opportunity.
A lot of time zones.
Super excited to jump on. All of the above are new skills that are in it for me along the journey, which is exciting. But as I think about the team and just what they bring to our partners, it's this ability to help our partners find the right path and identify how and why they're doing what they're doing on our platform. And so again, a lot of the same tools, curiosity, really digging deep on the business problems we're solving and why we're solving them, and then overlaying and digging in deep on, what's the technology strategy to support that.
But your team, I think, has a very particular and very specialist job, because not only are they deep Salesforce experts, but they start to become, of course, experts in all of us and all of what we're trying to do and why we're doing it, which actually probably makes for a very, varying, rewarding, rich, set of experiences, actually. I'm kind of imagining you probably, if you think about it, you've probably got one of the best talented, customer-facing teams in probably Salesforce.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things about this team, too, is just the tenure.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that have been on the team for 15 years.
Yeah.
And that there's not just one person who's been on the team for 15 years, there's several.
Yeah.
And just the tenure and experience, and I think there's some of that's probably because they have experienced, the success of our partners and helped drive that for so many years.
Yeah.
Through having these experiences and these conversations.
Of course, it stays fresh, right? Because you're always dealing with new companies, new people.
Yeah.
And so I just, before we move off the topic, something I thought was really quite fun was, because just to share with everybody, so Chris and I obviously know each other for a long time, and it's nice to reconnect. But yesterday I got this text message, well, it wasn't text message, someone sent me a photograph. It was one of my old French colleagues, with a picture of you in a room with him. They're just no commentary, nothing, just a picture of this guy with you in a room sent to me, and it made me laugh because I knew why he'd sent it. But it turns out you've literally been meeting the whole fraternity of our network in your trip here. Maybe you want to say a few words about
100%.
some of that. It's quite funny. It's fun and nice to meet everybody, right?
I think what's wonderful about being on the partner side of the business is that this is, just our entire kind of ecosystem is sprinkled with these people who have been at Salesforce or in the ecosystem for so long. So it's just been this amazing, almost networking trip in some ways.
Yeah.
I swear I'm working, but I'm meeting with old friends. And I'm finding with John Lewis in that.
That's right, Chris.
In that
this is work
situation.
As he sips.
I was looking at the meeting notes and the briefing for me about the meeting I was going to have. So I had scheduled, and I was like, oh, I know John Louis.
Yeah.
We were in boot camp together 15 years ago.
I know.
So,
a
similar situation with meeting with, some friends up in Amsterdam before we got to Paris. Just, hey, let's meet up at the partner event that we were putting together. We put together this amazing partner event, by the way, where we had 6 different customers up on stage talking with our partners about their experiences with the App Exchange and how just the applications from the App Exchange have accelerated their business and their value that they've got from the Salesforce platform. And it was this amazing event put on by some of our partner account managers and marketing team, and it was just spectacular and such an awesome thing. But it was all just a networking experience for me in a lot of ways, just connecting with old friends, learning about where they're at with their businesses, just like we're doing today.
Yeah.
And really now in my new role, digging in to figure out, what can we do to help you accelerate your business and keep you on the right track.
In this role, Chris, you're going to be coming across the pond more and more often. Will we be seeing you on the side of the pond more often?
I hope so. Yeah. My aim is to be here maybe every 6 months, maybe more if I can find a reason to be, but
biannual podcast, perhaps.
we could do a biannual podcast. We could check in, and I'll have to review this one, see how this turns out, see if I want to do it again. But yeah, probably. That.
I was going to jump in with a question, actually.
Yeah.
So I think you both talked a lot about your backgrounds, and you're clearly very passionate about the Salesforce platform. I think one from an evangelist perspective, and now one from a user who's built a business on the platform.
Sure.
You want to talk a bit about why you think you can do that, why you're so passionate about it, and really why Salesforce acts as that platform? Maybe if we start with Chris and hand to Dom.
Sure. It's an interesting question, just because I think about what has kept me at Salesforce for so long, and also when I think about my own personal leadership values, and we go through these leadership values exercises often at Salesforce and kind of define what your values are. And the second one, maybe it's the third, I should know this better, but second or the third on my list. The first is always relationships.
Yeah.
To me, relationships that I build along the way are massively important to me. I think two is that if I think back to my slide, two is success. And it's, finding success in the work I'm doing, but the others that I'm working with, whether that's partners or customers or my my team and my employees. But the third on that list is passion. And I can't work or do something that I'm not passionate about, that I can't personally get behind. And so I think that's really, when I think about the Salesforce platform, I've consistently been able to have passion about where we're going, what we're doing as a company, helping the world, and so as a company, you look at just how we look at technology, how Mark is such a visionary and thinks about what's next and looks at the trends and the opportunities in the market and rolls those into our strategy continuously, year after year. All 15 years that I've been here, it's just an amazing experience, and it's just been so much fun.
Yeah. It's funny because I was in Salesforce for more than a decade. I was about 10 and a half years. But I actually left about 10 years ago now, I guess.
It's amazing to me that you left 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to me, actually.
It doesn't feel like that long.
I think that's a compliment.
It is. I just can't believe I've been here for 15 years, I guess. Maybe that's the other side of that.
Chris, we're all getting older. The thing is, I got to say, but the funny thing is I left, but I went to other ecosystem companies before with my co-founders, starting Aforza. And actually, a quick fun fact, actually, we worked out that inside of Aforza, which is, still quite a young company, there's more than 250 years of Salesforce ecosystem experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot, right, actually. And, it's easy to say, well, we all knew Salesforce, so we built on it. And, I'm a huge fan of Mark Benioff as well, and I think he's been incredibly influential for me and for many of my friends and colleagues. I think he's like the man's a force for good in the world. Just sort of, by the way, he got the Legion d'Honneur from France, actually, was the last week or something. That's kind of really impressive.
Is that why we had an all hands in France last week? Maybe.
It might have influenced it, perhaps.
So. There was a lot of people there the day before I got there. So
okay, that could explain it. Yeah.
Probably explains that.
But where I was going to go was there's a part of it which is that value match, the vision match. I think is always very, very important. But also, when we started Aforza, we were also setting out to create a successful business. We have our own vision and values and things that we want to do. And of course, it seemed like a very obvious thing to select Salesforce as a platform to build on. But we wouldn't have done it if it didn't make total sense, right? Now, some of that algorithm, of course, is, we know it really, really well. But in our professional opinions, it is the greatest CRM platform in the world you can choose today. It is the platform that actually, when you get into the complex CRM problems that people face within a few months of trying to use CRM, the whole idea of not using Salesforce just gets me stressed, actually, thinking about it. So we chose to build on it, and because of that, we were able to, with our expertise, admittedly, but get a product to market really, really fast. And not just anything, but a really good quality product of that. And, we build on Salesforce, we build on Google, we leverage the power of two platforms to really make a differentiated outcome. But when I think about it, in the space of, what is this, maybe at the time of recording now, maybe about 3.5 years, we have literally people executing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business on our platform. We have people executing millions upon millions of sales visits. In fact, this very podcast is taking place in BrewDog, one of our customers. And BrewDog, great customer. We just did an event with them, actually in the pub, funnily enough. And in the first quarter of usage, they do this thing where they measure the placement of their product in bars and hotels around the country. 250% improvement. Anyway, enough of the sales pitch. But I think the thing I'm trying to say is, if you think about from 0 to those kind of business results, not our results, our customers' results, in such a short space of time, why could we do it? Didn't worry about the security, we've got a platform. Didn't worry about scalability, we've got a platform. Didn't worry about high availability, we've got a platform. Didn't worry about disaster recovery, it's built on Salesforce. How many millions of dollars did I save Aforza to jump to that point, I guess that even today, it's kind of amazing to me, because we've been doing this now for decades, right? Like, Chris, we're getting a bit old, like the joke, right?
Apparently.
But still, there's so much more to do.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So I look at it, and I'm grateful to Salesforce because it's been a major part of my career, and actually a major part of my life, frankly, for a long time now, actually.
Well, it's funny. I think about major part of our lives. Like
Yeah.
you and I are friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I have seen and caught up with your life like throughout, since we worked together last. And it's funny, here we are today, like back together, and it's just amazing to see you in real life.
Launching a new podcast
And
series.
apparently we're on a podcast. So just how much fun is that?
Yeah, I know.
And just
Kinda
again
funny.
going back to. There's an amazing network and set of relationships behind this platform too, which is amazing and a lot of fun to participate in.
And that fun extends because it's quite funny, because when your team found out that you were coming here to record the podcast, I understand that after today's podcast, your entire team's coming for their evening out here as well.
Yeah, exactly. And you have another podcast scheduled.
As well. I know, like a queue of them.
You're welcome.
Funny.
It's interesting to also think about the business problem you're solving and the opportunity. It's one, having been in SE early days when we didn't have a lot of partners. I mean, I think the number that I used to quote when I would do a demo, which was like I would do like 6 demos a day or something.
Yeah.
So, we have 700 applications on the App Exchange. You probably remember
Yeah.
that, but that was a big number. And then one day it was like 1,000. I
Yeah.
think we're like 7,000.
Yeah.
So a lot of business problems have been solved. But the one that, I kept on coming back to many, many times over was this one around, trade promotion management, consumer goods and placement, and, in the beverage industry, wineries and breweries would come to us and they'd have these problems and we'd try to solve them. And we'd have to try to build all these things. And it was hard to build these things and hard to build them right and get the problem set right and also learn the language every single time. Like there's, with 6 demos a day, if that was the pace of the given year or the week or whatever, that's a lot of context switching to be able to go and talk deeply to a particular industry about their problems, understand their problems, and then solve them.
Yeah.
And I love just that our partners are able to bring that to the table in a deep way to help drive amazing results. You said 250% increase, and I think it was like competitive coverage of tap handles or something was probably not the industry way to say that, because again I'm context switching quite a bit, but just the business results you're driving by going down that by being specific and being able to extend our platform in that way is so awesome.
And Chris, one of the things that we've also noticed in the market, which is really, I think, probably a great message for other prospective partners, is when we're competing or trying to win business, obviously we're measured on our functionality, our capabilities, and who we are, and all the usual things. But of course, people do want to look under the covers, and of course there's the credibility of the platform that we're built on. But they're also thinking, well, you know what? We'll solve these problems today, but then I might need marketing automation, and these guys are on Salesforce. So now, if I want to do Marketing Cloud or something, and we see a lot of that. Or another one we'll very often get is like, what if we want to do e-signature type stuff? So maybe they'll be looking at other companies like they're on the App Exchange. So one of the things that we found is two major differentiators for us was, one, the security and certainty of being on the platform, but also the extensibility. You know what you just said about the App Exchange now, and there's thousands of other, but like that is truly a differentiating prospect in itself, because people can see like ways to solve the next set of problems once they've done this, and they've onto the platform themselves. And I think that what we're doing collectively together is we're finding a way to let some companies, particularly in consumer goods, which is, not it's a very traditional industry, not always the fastest, we're finding ways to let them start their digital transformation journeys, because a lot of them haven't done it yet. You know, we throw around these terms like everyone does it, everyone knows what it means.
Yeah.
But I think like with the app exchange, with the platform, with our product, we're giving them a way to start this kind of journeys, which actually, you know, is really rewarding. They get the results, they have career success. I'm always a big believer in trying to create that perfect cycle of success, breeding success for everyone, like you said,
Yeah.
for the team, you know, for the customer, for the partners. Because you know what, life's too short. It's just, the best business is good business, and make some good friends along the way, don't you think?
100%. And just celebrating those successes over the years together, right? And getting to come back to them. Remember that one time we closed that deal, or remember that one time we built that amazing thing? Like, it's, you know,
it's good.
Those things last for a long time, and are
Chris, so pleased.
amazing memories.
Could come in here, let's do a big cheers, right? Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
And just on that, I thought we talked a lot about your past, the experience of the platforms, and then we switched gears to the industry side of things. There's a lot of talk about industry cloud today. There's a lot of talk about industry cloud at Salesforce. I think in the recent investor playback at Dreamforce, there was a lot of talk about the growth in the industry's clouds and what you're doing there. If you want to just talk a little bit about why you think that is and why the solutions are resonating so well across industries like consumer goods.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you get industry specific and, you know, you speak the language of the industry and the customer that you're selling to, you know, you cut through a lot of the trust that you need to build and work very hard for if you do not have that, right?
Yeah.
So that's maybe one thing that happens right away, which just accelerates the business and the opportunity for everyone. You know, I think you're also uniquely positioned to just know which business problems to solve when you can be that specific. And so, again, it's just that it speeds up that sales cycle. It makes it easier for our partner or our customers. Sorry, I'm getting used to switching over to the partner side. Sometimes I'm confused. Am I talking about customers or partners? But makes it easier for our customers to make decisions and just really expand their solutions that they're working on with Salesforce in the direction that matters to them. I think that maybe hopefully answered where you're going. But maybe taking a step back on industries for a second, like Dom, you were at Velocity for a while.
Yeah. 4 or 5 years, 4.5 years.
Yeah. And I feel like Velocity wrote a lot of our industry playbook.
Yeah.
And you know, many of our executives leading our industry clouds now at Salesforce are ex-Velocity folks as well. So I don't know, what lessons from being industry specific would you share with everybody?
I think, first of all, Velocity was a fantastic company. I guess its new incarnation inside Salesforce is brewing as well. I know those guys. My old boss was David Schmeier, who's now Chief Product Officer. I think isn't he? Great guy. And Andy, who's also ex-Velocity as well.
That's right. I forgot to say you both were ex-Velocity.
Actually, there's a few people, actually, my co-founders, Nick and Edric. So there's a lot of Velocity alumni, a lot of Salesforce alumni in Aforza. Maybe not surprising given our backgrounds. I think you're nailing it. I think that the first value point is that immediate pattern match. The pattern match of like, here are my topics, these people are talking to me in my language, and that immediate empathy, trust build up from the pattern match. The second thing, though, I think is a little bit more subtle, is that's like level 1. Level 2 is when you go deep and you start to do some serious innovation. So, for example, one of Aforza's innovations is how to do omni-channel pricing everywhere, like literally everywhere. So, without going into too much detail, Aforza's got capabilities like being able to do product pricing on e-commerce or on telesales, or even disconnected on a mobile device, disconnected from the internet. Same promotion logic, discounting rules, everything everywhere. And so what we're doing is like level 1, pattern match, build trust and empathy. Level 2 is add serious business value. We've got a customer, we're doing this has been recorded in mid-October, and in November we've got a customer, Distell, doing a podcast with us. Distell have been using Aforza now for, I guess, a little bit over 6 months. And what's amazing about this customer, Chris, is it's how the innovation is taking hold. So to tell you a very quick story about this is they start doing order capture out in the field across South Africa and in Asia, and the average value of an order for these guys to sell wine, spirits, beers was 18,000 rand at the start of the project. So day 1, order capture, 18,000 rand. Because they could do things like credit checking, real-time inventory checking, cross-selling, upselling, all sorts of stuff they could do that they couldn't do before. Today, their average order is 46,000 rand.
Wow.
2.5x. I mean, I've been in CRM for 20 years. Like, how often do you hear statistics like that?
Is it the second time there's been a 250% increase?
It is a theme of our company. In fact, we should rename it to 250%. But 18,000 rand anyway, probably talking too long about this one, but stage one, the pattern match. And Salesforce, I think, does this really well in the dedication they have to industries. Stage two, you take that innovation out, now that you actually pattern match with the customer, and you're on the same page, how can you affect that transformation to get back an incredible result?
I feel like I want to ask you a follow-on question.
Go for it. So,
how has Salesforce enabled you to accelerate that innovation for our customers?
Well, I think some really very simple answers up front would be is Salesforce saved us a lot of go-to-market money. Like, I'm spending my R&D dollars on that innovation. I didn't spend it on the platform. I didn't spend it on, a whole bunch of infrastructure to just get me the table stakes. I spent my R&D dollars on solving really complicated problems. And, obviously it's a journey, it never stops. You're always innovating and doing more and more and more. And we've got lots of great ideas to come. But it was the support. Also, Salesforce has evolved over the years into so many different directions and such maturity. My new employees, you met a couple of young SEs today.
It was amazing to see SEs working for Dom at Aforza. It was like turning the tables on the whole situation. It was amazing.
But we've been teaching them, but they've also been using Trailblazer and resources and getting Salesforce certified, and it's career motivating for them. So it's not just about so many ways actually, Chris, because it's there's probably I should think about this and write a list, but there's lots of ways Salesforce helps without even realizing it. Because my employees want to be Salesforce certified, they want to be Aforza certified, but they want to be Salesforce certified too, and they want to add these things together, and it's a pride and badge of honor. And some of our rewards are linked to, hey, you know what? If you get yourself Salesforce certified, we're going to, give you some sort of reward or something, right?
Did they get that $1 million trip to Vegas with all the beer?
You probably better explain that for our listeners one eye. So we're laughing because right now, actually, there's a I don't know if it's a competition or what, but BrewDog's got a thing on where they're opening their new Vegas establishment, which I'm guessing is probably going to be as impressive as this, if not more. And apparently, it's $1 million bar tab if you win the competition.
It's a lot of beer.
It's a lot of beer.
Wow.
We could do it.
Yeah.
You and I.
If you win it, let me know. You'll need help.
We might wait to call the old SE team up and get some help.
It's an open invite. Fun. Just show up.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do.
All right.
Okay, so we talked a ton about your background, your experiences, just the success you've driven from an industry cloud perspective on the platform. Chris, maybe a question to you now is: what's your vision for the platform going forward? What do you want to see more of? Where are things going to change? Where does the future?
So this is a fun question because I don't really necessarily hold all the keys to the vision of the platform going forward, right? We have an amazing product group at Salesforce. David Meyer, of course, being the product leader, and many people working for him, moving this thing forward at just such an amazing clip. Whether it's like innovations like Hyperforce, it's products like Genie, which I bet has an amazing fit within your customer base at some point as you think about that. I mean, I've actually just been blown away on my trip to Europe here, watching our partners who are here, who are actually seemingly very, far away from San Francisco. It took me a long time to get here. And I just now, after several days, I'm sleeping through the night. It's a journey. But the partners that I'm seeing, use and be on ramps to the rest of the platform. You were talking about this a minute ago, Dom. There's a key application or platform that a partner builds, and then suddenly, just the rest of the platform surrounds that with our customers, whether it's Marketing Cloud or CDP, or the rest of MuleSoft gets to be a part of the equation. And I think that's really the future of where our world is going, at least on the ISV and App Exchange side of things, is really multi-cloud solutions where we're really wrapping the entire value of the platform into the value proposition that our partners can bring to the table, but also the value that we're bringing just to every single customer. And I think it's happening very in a lot of specific and great ways today, but I also think it's going to be more holistic and happening everywhere in every one of our customer and partner interactions in the future. So to me, that's an exciting direction we're going. I don't know if that's the only answer. There's certainly a fair amount of things I think just innovation-wise we need to keep investing in to support our partners, and I'm working on that diligently too.
You made a remark earlier about Mark being kind of like an innovator, and I used to think to myself, I still think it actually. I feel like sometimes he lives 3 to 5 years ahead of everybody else. It's probably the gift he has, right? That's why he's done this. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to speak for Mark because I personally haven't spent a lot of time with him. You might have spent more time with him over the years.
Some years ago.
But I feel that way for sure. I mean, I know I have many friends in Silicon Valley that are up to very interesting things, and just the stories I've heard of him working with entrepreneurs and people who are from all walks of the community and world, whether it's technology or art or other places.
Yeah.
And him just really keeping an open beginner's mind on the world and using that to keep pushing us forward. I mean, he's just amazing for that. And again, has constantly been an inspiration for staying and driving my passion for Salesforce and our platform.
I don't think there's another leader really in tech, at least I know, that has achieved such a level of alignment in a company, which is how many employees in Salesforce now?
It's a hard number to keep track of.
60,
I started
70,000?
around 2,000,
Yeah.
and now it's somewhere around 80.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I was just talking round numbers because
Right.
it goes so quickly that I think 80 was the last number. I think
You
was
think
that
about
somewhat
it,
accurate.
the fact that you've been able to achieve that alignment through that company for all these years is kind of phenomenal, actually.
And the pace of innovation for a
Yeah.
company of that size, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been an incredible ride and such a fun place to be and a fun platform and technology company to be a part of. So
You could have a good day, you could have a bad day, but you won't be bored.
You will not be bored. No. Never a boring day at
Never
Salesforce.
boring.
And if you have a boring day, it's actually a good thing. You should take a break.
Probably have a
that day.
rest, yeah.
So go, take it when it comes, because when that happens,
Yeah.
just go for it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
It won't be boring the next day or the next week. It will come back around.
It's funny, it's true, very true.
Excellent. Well, Chris, Dom, it's been a fantastic podcast episode. I think your passion for the platform is electric. Any final words you want to share with the audience as we wrap this up? But I've certainly enjoyed it, so thank you.
I just want to give Dom a cheers.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you
Thanks
for
doing
being
this.
an amazing partner, and also leader and mentor and all those things over the years too.
Chris,
and it's
thanks so
amazing to
much.
get to sit with you and do this. So sorry.
I'm really glad you came in. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a couple of beers now with the rest of the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Fantastic. Thank you.